Dear students, in the previous lessons, we have learned two methods of representing shear walls in construction drawings: the schedule notation method and the section notation method. In this lesson, we will learn how to represent openings in shear walls. Openings in shear walls are typically shown in place on the shear wall layout plan. The specific representation methods for openings follow these rules. First, draw the opening schematic on the shear wall layout plan and indicate the planar positioning dimensions of its center. Second, at the center of the opening, clearly indicate the opening number, the geometric dimensions of the opening, the relative elevation of the opening center, and the additional reinforcement on each side of the opening. Openings are generally in two shapes: rectangular or circular. Rectangular openings are numbered as JD plus serial number, and circular openings as YD plus serial number. For the marking of opening geometric dimensions, rectangular openings are marked as the width by height, while circular openings are marked by their diameter. The relative elevation of the opening center refers to its height relative to the structural floor, or ground elevation. When the opening center is higher than the structural floor, it is marked as a positive value. When it is lower than the structural floor, it is marked as a negative value. For the marking of the additional reinforcement on each side of the opening, we can understand it together with the reinforcement details for different types of openings. Different opening shapes correspond to different reinforcement layouts. As engineering technicians, we face different engineering problems every day. Engineering technicians should be able to analyze specific problems case by case and adopt appropriate methods based on actual conditions to solve problems. For shear walls, the horizontal and vertical reinforcement get cut off when they meet an opening. To avoid affecting the load-bearing performance of the shear walls, we need to provide additional reinforcement around the opening. Let's first look at the first case. When a rectangular opening has both width and height not exceeding 800 millimeters. All four sides of the opening must be provided with additional reinforcement bar with a diameter of no less than 12 millimeters. The total cross-sectional area of these bars should be at least 50% of the total area of the longitudinal bars that were cut off. The type of additional reinforcement should be the same as that of the severed longitudinal bars. If the design drawing specifies the information of the additional reinforcement, it should be provided according to the indicated values. In this case, the marking method should indicate the specific value of the additional reinforcement for each side of the opening. For example, JD2, 400 by 300, plus 3.100, 3514 means a number 2 rectangular opening with a width of 400 millimeters and a height of 300 millimeters. The center of the opening is 3,100 millimeters above the structural floor level, and each side of the opening is reinforced with 3 14 millimeters diameter bars. When the reinforcement differs between the width and height directions, they should be noted separately for the width direction and height direction with the two values separated by a slash. For example, JD4, 800 by 300, plus 3.100, 3 bars of 18 millimeters diameter, 3 bars of 14 millimeters diameter, indicates that the reinforcement in the width direction consists of 3 18 millimeters diameter bars, and in the height direction consists of 3 14 millimeters diameter bars. The second case is for rectangular or circular openings where the width or diameter exceeds 800 millimeters. Reinforced hidden beams must be installed above and below the opening. When marking, you need to specify the exact values of longitudinal bars and stirrups for each hidden beam above and below the opening. For circular openings, you also need to indicate the specific values of hoop reinforcement bars. However, if the upper and lower sides of the opening are coupling beams of a shear wall, this annotation can be omitted. For example, YD5, 1000 plus 1000 and 806, Phi 25, 8, at 152 Phi 16, indicates a number 5 circular opening with a diameter of 1000 m, whose center is 1,800 millimeters above the structural floor level. Reinforced hidden beams are installed above and below the opening. Each hidden beam has 6 longitudinal bars of 20 millimeters diameter, stirrups of 8 millimeters diameter spaced at 150 millimeters, and 2 hoop reinforcement bars of 16 millimeters diameter. It should be noted that the 6x20 longitudinal bars for each hidden beam refers to a total of 6 bars, 20 mm diameter, distributed in both the upper and lower parts of the hidden beam. The third case is when a circular opening is located within the middle 1/3 of a coupling beam, and its diameter does not exceed 1/3 of the beam height. In this case, specify the values of the reinforcing bars and longitudinal bars arranged horizontally above and below the circular opening on each side. The fourth case is when a circular opening is located in the wall web, hidden beam, or boundary beam, and its diameter is not greater than 300 mm. In this case, specify the specific values of the reinforcing longitudinal bars arranged on the upper, lower, left, and right sides of the opening. The last case is when the diameter of a circular opening is greater than 300 mm, but not greater than 800 mm. In this case, specify the specific values of the reinforcing longitudinal bars arranged on the upper, lower, left, and right sides of the opening, as well as those of the hoop reinforcement bars. For example, YD5 600 plus 1800, 2Phi22, Phi 16, indicates a number 5 circular opening with a diameter of 600, whose center is 1,800 mm above the structural floor level. The additional reinforcement on each side of the opening is 2 bars with a diameter of 20 mm. And the hoop reinforcement bars are 2 bars with a diameter of 16 mm. Okay, that's all for this lesson. Have you mastered how to represent openings in shear walls and their reinforcement?